Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I'll check you off. I got you. Hey there, everybody. So I guess we're live. Brooke, hi. This is Brooke Seaman, everyone.
Hi.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. As Ryan just said, my name is Brooke Seaman. I'm a professional volleyball player entering my fifth season abroad, and I'm lucky enough to do it this year in the beautiful country of Turkey.
Awesome. Where are you exactly in Turkey?
Barton, it is about 7 hours by bus from Istanbul, so pretty much in the middle of nowhere, but it's a very good cultural experience because it's far removed from English culture completely.
North, south, east, west?
East of Istanbul.
Okay, awesome. Because Turkey is huge.
Yes.
And I think people are gonna definitely experience Turkey at some point in their life. They need to know that it's not like very small. So you're so far. You're close to a border, right? You
I
should be.
believe
You're
so.
about two,
I
three
want
hours away from. Azerbaijan shouldn't be very far from you. You can also, the direction you are, you can get to areas like Lebanon and whatever that are not that far away. To give people some geography there. So I am Ryan J. Owens. I run Elite Volley Agency, which helps place pro players around the world and also helps young student athletes get to colleges in America. So if they don't want to go to America or Canada, then what they can do is learn online. And so one of these ways to learn online is like this, with mentors like Brooke, like myself, like others who might join in, who will definitely be on future sessions. This was a last minute one because I've just been so whirlwind right now. So the last event we just had was this Blizzard Euro Tour, and I'm so happy to say that it went well, and we had a bunch of athletes on that. And I played in it, so I started playing volleyball in Evanston, Illinois. I made it to the national team. I played pro in I don't know how many countries, so I'm not even gonna try and list them, but a lot, and I love it to death, and I just wanna give back to the sport. And same as Brooke, I've learned a lot along the way just from teaching myself. And so today we want to teach you all about social media, just like a kind of crash course on what's out there, right? So just to get started, I want to read one of the definitions of social media that I found online. And I think it's kind of nice. And then I'm going to show you guys this really cool graphic about what social media actually encompasses. And it's so much bigger than we could ever think. Because you think social media, right? What do you think, Brooke? If you're going to say, list some things you think of when you think of social media.
Of course, first things that come into mind are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the normal social media apps for everyday users.
Yeah.
But
Any
in
more?
the sense of an athlete, I mean, there's just so many things out there. Those are the main ones that I use, but I know many other people use website platforms, blog platforms. They're things that are designed specifically for business, but those are the main ones that I use.
Yeah, there's so many different ones. And right now, I know, Brooke, you said that it's showing only you. Hopefully it'll switch back to me back and forth. If not, then people get a great view of you this whole time. We'll try and figure it out. But before we do, I'm just going to read off what social media is. Social media is the future of communication, a countless array of internet-based tools and platforms, blah, 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 transfer of text, photos, audio, video, information, in general, increasingly fluid among internet users. Platforms like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, where you can create online communities. I'm skipping through a lot of this, but some of the most important. The result is an enormous amount of information that can easily be shared, searched, promoted, disputed, and created. And without going through the rest of this, I just want people out there to know that everything you're doing on social media falls into one of those categories. And it's really important to know that that could be happening. Whatever you post, somebody is watching, somebody is learning from, someone is using to judge you, to maybe not judge you. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about what you are posting. So I want to show this graphic. It's really, really, really cool. Let me pull it up, see what my sharing skills are like. Brooke, let me know if you can see it. Can you see it? I can't hear her, so hopefully she can see it. this is the graphic, and there's so much on here that, oh, you're muted. I don't know why you would be muted. Let me figure that out really quick before we go on. No. Brooke, jump out and then jump back in. All right, so here on this screen, you see like a ton of different things. You see social commerce, blog platforms, social curation, streams, niche working, business networking like LinkedIn, all these things. You see reviews and ratings, Yelp, things like that. Video, Hulu, Boxy, Vimeo, YouTube, events, Eventbrite, all these different things. Wiki, which is a great learning tool. You have all these different platforms. Down here at the bottom, there's Facebook and all of those things. And so basically, what you learn, I'm going to take that off. What you learn from this is that it's much bigger than we could ever imagine, right? And so if we want to think about how we can use social media, we got to think that we're going to use it. I'm just going to read from the notes here to connect or engage with people. Oh, I don't know why she can't join, but sorry, Brooke. You're going to have to make sure you make comments or something like that. We'll have to figure it out. Let's see, to connect or engage with people in community. So on Facebook, you're going to maybe have a fan page. You're going to share on that fan page everything, for instance, about you as an athlete. Or like maybe even my school. I want to say, like, for instance, hey, here's my new award. I got, student athlete of the week. Or here's my new video from our last highlight or our last match. Here's a highlight on it, to show what I'm doing. Why? Because you want friends back home. Thank you, Brooke. Sorry. You want friends from back home to be on there watching you. You want coaches with teams that you're thinking about, playing for on there. There's so many different ways you can use that. You can also use it, for instance, if you're a pro and you're trying to gather up some leads for sponsors. Say you're sponsored by like Under Armour. You could be posting your Under Armour stuff and saying like, hey guys, if you like this, go check out on Under Armour. It's just a great way to connect with different people. But there's also social media like where you share your life. You share everything about you, just kind of like in a me situation. It can be used that way. So one of those is Instagram. Another is more so is Snapchat. The new Facebook Live is really just promoting you and what you're doing. And so you have to remember that when you're on there, you are, sorry, Brooke, I'm going to try and get you in by email, so post it again. When you're on there, you're showing yourself and how everybody else is going to see you. I add my volleyball players to my agency. When they come on the agency, I make sure I get their Snapchat, their Instagram, their everything, and I'm looking at it, just like anybody else is going to consume that data. And I'm thinking, all right, well, this person is always working out. They're always eating well. They're always connecting with good friends. They're never using expletives. They're never, doing anything to show their body in a bad way. They're never trying to get attention that's only, for instance, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's more like, hey, look at what I'm doing to get better, to help others around me, things like that. And then there's online platforms where you can learn. And I listed some of them. Wiki is an amazing one because on Wikipedia, basically you can go on there and you can learn whatever it is that you want, right? So you can search for whatever, how to use social media. And when you go there, it's going to give you some things. And I think that's actually where I pulled this awesome graphic from. And then there's also sites, for instance, like Duolingo, which is a language learning app where it's just by a private company. And you go on there and you can start learning simply, really, any language that you want. And you can connect with your friends. So you can say like, all right, friends A, B, C, and D, I would like to connect with you and share my progress with you. And I want to gamify the situation. So what happens is every time I do a certain level, my friends are notified. And if I don't do something for a while and I'm checking in to see what my friends are doing, they're getting all these points and whatever. And I'm thinking, ooh, I want more points. So it's a really fun way to interact and learn. You have some other online learning tools, which are social. You can do things like Creative Live, Skillshare, Coursera. These are apps where you go to them and you basically, you can learn whatever you want. So whether it's like you're trying to learn about economics or math, or you're trying to learn about social media, branding, marketing, business, any of the sciences, whatever you're looking for, you can find there. And then there's another one where there's the other major one is consuming. So what do you want to consume? You want to consume things like, for instance, new products, ways to do things better. So that could be, for instance, I want to learn how to make an apple pie. And I'm going to use Pinterest to look up apple pies and the best apple pies that I can make. Or I want to look up, you know, I just got a new flat when I moved overseas to play my first pro career. It's this big, meaning small, and I want to know how to create something cool in a small space with what I have and very cheap. And then there's other things where you can learn, say, for instance, you can consume things like on Amazon where you say, all right, I want to create these lists and then share these lists. So what I have is a list that I've created for my athletes that come in to Elite that I know are going to travel. And I say, hey, all right, you can go on this list and you can look at, for instance, all the products in terms of like gear, or for instance, gadgets like iPhones, screen protectors, mics. I wish I could grab one that was close. And you can find whatever you want, whether it's things like, oh, I need to go get like a hard drive, or I need the case. And you can have these lists and share them with people so that they can know what the best things out there are. Before we go any further, I'm just going to take a second. Hopefully, if you guys have any questions, you can jump in and ask them on the right side. I am going to try and get Brooke back in this. And that's just going to take a second here. She still didn't send me her email, which makes it harder to find, but I'm going to look. Here we go. All right. So Brooke, I'm going to try and send you an email to jump in this. Go ahead and try. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is basically, yeah, I already added it, Brooke. Thank you. The next thing I want to talk about is who can see what you're doing. So on social media, you need to realize that everything you're doing, there are privacy settings. So on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, like for instance, you can share those little new feeds where you can do videos as you go, kind of like Snapchat. You can change who sees those and who doesn't. So if someone's following you and you say like, I really don't want this coach or whatever to be following everything I do. I know that it's, you know, not going to degrade me or whatever, but it's just, I'm not interested in this person seeing it. Or it could be somebody you're just like, dude, I'm so tired of this person in my life. Why would I share anything with them? You would change that setting inside of Instagram. We'll go further into those in different live lessons. But for now, one of the biggies is Facebook. On Facebook, you want to make sure that you're creating lists. So if you Google, how do I create friend lists? Just type that in Google and then look up the most recent YouTube video you can find on it. You basically want to make lists so that you say, for instance, I will share with you. I'm going to show you my Facebook. So again, a screen share. Okay, so here's my Facebook, and if I run into here, and I say like, let's see, actually here. So if I want to confirm some random person, who do I actually know in here? I'm going to confirm Balsha. This is a good friend of mine. I really need to check my friends list more. And if I want to go in here, I say add to another list. Well, I have different lists for work. I have different lists for locations, and then I've created all of these. Is the person an agent? Are they a coach? Are they affiliated with elite sports students? Are they in fitness, nutrition, media? For instance, I definitely don't want media seeing everything I do. So media is definitely on a pretty much block list where they don't see much at all. Teams, whatever. So there's so many different lists that you can add people to that you want to make sure that they only see what you want them to see. So if I go in here and I show you one more time, I'm going to show you how you make a post public or private. Let me go back to the Facebook. So let's say I'm like, hey, this live session, oops, I got to learn how to type, is fun, but I made a mistake and kicked Brooke out. Oops. Sorry. All right. So like, if I want this to go to the world, I leave it on public. If I want it only to go to this friends, the ones that are tagged in it, if I tag Brooke and it's going to show it to her friends, or I can go down here and I can say on more, I can go to custom and I can say, I only want this to go to, say, pro players, but I don't. I want it to go out to the world to know that I made a mistake. And then, yeah, I go that way. All right, so the next thing that we want to talk about is, let me take it off of presenting. So if we go to social media, bring back up my little list. Social media 101. And Brooke, make sure you send me any messages about things you're thinking about. If you have some comments, there's one more platform that I wanted to talk about, which is blogging. If you're blogging, and there was a great message from Susan Salzbrenner, who's the author of Play Abroad 101. Fantastic book. Look it up. You can buy it. I'm pretty sure you can get it on Amazon by now. But if not, we will give the link to that. She had posted just recently. Let me just read this to you guys because I loved it. She's always got great information. She says, one thing I would mention is a possibility to not set up your own blog/outlet, but using existing platforms that already have a big following, like medium.com, writing a column for an online magazine, The Cauldron. She gives examples, The Cauldron, Player Tribune, or collaborate with more well-known athletes. So for instance, like one of the best athletes I know for social media, but also just a great guy, is Dustin Watton in terms of volleyball. He's created such a great follower list that whenever he's doing something, I would rather have him, or I would rather guest post on his blog or his social media, or do something collaboratively with him, like a video, like a live video or a hangout, something like that, and post it on his stuff, so like Instagram, Facebook, whatever, so that I can tap into his network, than do that just on mine, because then I don't have the same reach. Another athlete with a great social media following, a lot of engaged followers, which means that they comment, they like, they repost, is a guy I just played with recently, Greg Faulkner. And he's such a great guy that you understand why he has such a great following, because every time he's posting something, he's like just trying to share things with the world. Brooke is saying the biggest input that she has in regards to posts on social media, if you want to build your brand or image, is to have a clear idea of the message you want to send to your fans and followers. It's really important because, Brooke, you can throw some more in there if you like, but what I'm thinking about generally for this topic is, if you are trying to communicate that you are working your butt off, right? Let's say it's preseason, or let's say it's off season, and I want teams to have a good image of me. I'm going to post when I'm working out. For instance, I might post a quick video, have somebody film me working out, or I might post a quick vid after my workout and say like, wow, that was really good. Here are some things that I liked about it. Here's some things I need to work on in the future. I might post like my gains or whatever it is I'm trying to do. If I lost weight, if I gain weight, if I gain strength, I might say like, hey, I hit my personal record, and I might show a picture of that or whatever. But then there's also the idea that when you are posting to your fans and followers, you are giving them a way to communicate with you. So you want to try and get feedback. You want to ask them questions like, hey guys, what's your favorite, skill in this sport? Your favorite thing to do when you're not playing volleyball? What's your favorite, if you like to learn online, if it's something that you like to do, like, hey, this was my favorite course recently, how to market yourself on Creative Live. Share the link and then ask if anybody else has any, please share that. Some ways you see examples of this, or people will be like, hey, I just read a great book. Does anybody have any other great recommendations? So you want to interact with people like that. If I was going to go into this more, let me see. I just want to stick to our outline here. It's a shame that I kicked Brooke out. Brooke sent a new message, just like type some question or dots or something so that can pop up again because I just closed it. But what are the downsides to using social media? All right, to cover this really quickly, the downsides are this. As an athlete, I have seen many athletes make comments about teams. For instance, they'll go, teams dealing with like coach, staff, players. Oh, I hate it when people just can't get along in training. Okay, first of all, people are going to see that and they're going to go, wow, there's some friction with your team. People don't need to know that. That's not something the public needs to know. Or you might say something like, oh, it sucks for this player, but they got fired because they're a horrible person. It's like, it's not your job to push that. So you might look bad because now you're talking poorly about others. Or you could say some things like, oh, it's another loss. Sucks for that team. Can't wait for season to be over. And I'm giving you literal examples of what I've seen players post. And I've actually done something stupid like that when I was a rookie, where I posted something along the effect of, it really sucks that things didn't go well. It's not that big of a deal because there's always next season. Well, it is that big of a deal to your team. It is that big of a deal to your teammates. It is that big of a deal to the team's fans, the team's sponsors, and supporters in general. So you need to think about what you say and how that affects everyone. And if you're going to say something, it's best never to say it on social media. If you want to say something private, say it to someone. So I just want to give some more examples from Brooke, where she was talking about the clear idea of your message that you want to send to your fans and followers. And she says, for example, I try to be as inspirational, optimistic, and positive as possible. So I have a mental checklist I go through before I make a public post to make sure it falls in line with the message I want to send. And then I think this is, let's see, comments about teams are important because you never know who your future employer may be. Same goes for comments about players. All right, that was another. You never know what's going to come back to hurt or help you. And so you have to realize that everything you do is being seen. And it just takes one screenshot to save that forever. So always think before you post, and that'll help you out so much. What are some, let's see, where can you learn to use it as well? All right, so if you want to learn social media skills, if you want to learn how to use platforms like the blogs or like medium.com, if you want to learn how to be guest writers on these different sites or do like cooperative things with other athletes who may be, for instance, in the same sport as you, but you have kind of the same vision as for where you want to be or how you want to communicate with other athletes, you can, first of all, ask those people. Just send them a tweet, send them an Instagram message. Try that way. You never know what's going to happen. I've gotten many guests on beyondathletic.com, my podcast, by just saying, hey, I like what you're doing. It's cool. I'd love to have you as a guest on the show. Here are the people I've worked with in the past. And when I didn't have them, honestly, all I said was, hey, if you want to help athletes, like that's what I'm trying to do. So if you just throw it out there, the world usually throws you something back. And usually that's positive. If you throw it something negative, then usually it's negative. So anyways, to give one more way about how you can learn to use it, you can use things like Skillshare, Coursera, Creative Live. Add a .com to all of those. And what you'll find on those sites is some of them are aggregators, and they basically bring in different companies' courses or different teachers' courses individually, and you can learn whatever you want for free, or you can pay. So you can say like, I really want to learn how to use YouTube, so let me look up a YouTube course, or a Pinterest, or Snapchat, or Instagram, or Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, you can look it up. So those are some ways. If I'm going to recap, and it's a shame that we won't get to do the Q&A because I threw out Brooke, but if we're going to recap about everything, if you want to get started today, I think there's 3 things that you need to focus on. You have to focus on content and platforms and then time management. So to hit on each one of those, content, what are you going to post? Socially, you're always going to post either text, photos, or videos, or documents, or somewhere, some mixture of them, right? And so when you're posting them, you want to make sure that they reflect the image that you want, that the brand that you want. So if you don't want to have messy images, don't post crazy, messed up, unclear thoughts, or a picture that is jumbled and whatever. Have it clean and whatever. Think Apple. Whatever you're going for, try and keep everything in that idea, that box, because that is who you want to be or portray, right? This content you can get however you want. You can do live videos, you can do recorded videos, you can take your Snapchats, you can Snapchat your whole day and not share with anybody, and then download that whole day and then share it as, hey, here's a day of my life. This is a great way to promote what you're doing and try to get people to learn from what you've learned and use the things that you've learned to use as tools, So if you're meditating every day and you want to show that, whatever it is. Platforms, where you post matters. The top platforms to post are going to be Facebook, they're going to be Twitter, and they're going to be Instagram/Snapchat right now. Because on Facebook, you can get to the most marketers. You can use, for instance, whatever you're doing to push your ads, and you can find the metrics. You can say like, I want this ad to go out to everybody between 19 and 25, and you can pay like $1 per week or something, and you can push whatever it is, your blog, your video, whatever, and that gets you fans, because you can make a button that says like my page or see my video, whatever. You can push them to go wherever you want. And then the other thing is like Snapchat. What you can do is you can say like, on Snapchat, I am going to all the time just post what I'm trying to get out of sport or out of life. And then that way you get followers that are in line with that. And then the last thing is time management. You don't want to focus on more than 1 or 2 of these platforms at a time. Something I'm learning the hard way, or I have learned the hard way, and why I've been bringing on interns and people to help me in the future. I kicked her off, but she's going to be better than me at this. Brooke will be doing some of these and moderating and trying to get people to interact and really just kind of being a leader on this platform, because this is just one more way that I can connect with everybody through elite sports students and Beyond Athletic. So you want to manage your time and stick to 1 or 2 platforms. You can always use, like for instance, let's say you're using Instagram, you can have your post go automatically to Facebook. And you never really have to check on Facebook except for maybe once a week or twice a week to answer messages or make comments. And I mean, that's pretty much all I have at this point. I'm going to leave it up for a couple more seconds just to see if Brooke says that there's anything that I missed. But I want to thank you guys. And if you want to learn anything else, you can go to the YouTube channel for Beyond Athletic. You can go to Beyond Athletic on Facebook. You go to Elite Sports Students on Facebook. I cross-post to everything. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you share this out and teach anybody that you think could use this just one thing, because that's what we should all do. We should support each other. So thanks so much for watching, and thanks so much for sharing. Ciao.